Hi everyone, today I'm going to introduce a new topic to you, and that is the punctuation marks. Now, what are the punctuation marks? Punctuation is used to create sense, clarity, and stress in sentences. What does this mean? This means that when we speak something, we can speak or clarify our meaning easily with our emotions. But when we have to write those emotions, we have to use the punctuation marks, because these punctuation marks tells us that where we have to put the pause, where we have to give the complete pause, short pause, sudden reactions, questions. All these things are used to put stress in the sentence. They makes the meaning more clear to us. So we use these punctuation marks to structure and organize our writing, because when we speak something, it's quite easy for us to speak it with our emotions, but when we need these emotions to be represented in our writing, then we have to use the punctuation marks, because this gives the clear meaning, clear stress on the sentence. As you can see on your screen that there are so many punctuation marks are there. They are used in writing to separate sentences and their elements and to clarify meaning, because these sentences, these punctuation marks are used to give the clear meaning of your emotions, clear meaning of the sentences, like comma, colon, semicolon, period, question mark, slash, hyphen, exclamation mark, ellipse, then square brackets, apostrophe, parenthesis, quotation marks, and dash. When we have to give stress on our emotions, when we have to show that where we have to give the short pause, the long pause, the complete pause, the pause of greater importance, the full stop, the sudden reactions, the questions, all these things we can easily tell with the punctuation marks. Only with them we can clarify the meaning, and this can stress on the meaning. And these punctuation marks are used in English writing to put stress on the sentence to make it more clarify. So let's read about the punctuation rules, that how we have to use it and what are the basically they are. First one is the parenthesis. As you can see on the screen, parenthesis, these are the circle brackets. And how they are used? To enclose information that clarifies or is used as an aside. Parentheses, these are the round brackets which are used to clarify the information. And periods go inside parentheses only if an entire sentence is inside the parenthesis. So these parentheses are used to enclose some information when a sentence is written, but some important information we have to give, then we use these parentheses. For example, he gave me a nice bonus. This is a complete sentence, but how much bonus is there, that is the important information, and that we can write in the circle brackets, that is called the parenthesis. Next example, please read the analysis. In the parenthesis, you will be amazed. That is giving the important information to making the meaning more clear. To make the given sentence more clear, we use these. After this, let's discuss about the next punctuation mark, and that are the quotation marks. How we use these quotation marks? As you can see, there are two commas on each sides and they are written on the upper side of the line. To mark with direct quotes with titles of certain works, and to write words add words. This means that when somebody said something to me and I have to tell the same thing exactly in that words, then we use the quotation marks. because quotation marks are used when we have to mark the direct quotes. Direct quote means the thing which is said in the words, the same words we use to give that same information to someone else. So these quotation marks are used, and they are the two commas at the beginning and at the last, and they are used. So we have to use these quotation marks when we have to write the direct quotes as it is, with the titles of certain works, and to write words as words. Like John said, I really hate when it's hot outside. The word is written in the quotes, so these are the direct words given by the other person. So let's discuss about the exclamation point. Exclamation is used at the end of the sentence to show extreme emotion or excitement. It can be an emotion of happiness, it can be an emotion of sadness, pain, sorrow. But when the sudden reaction is there, then sudden reaction is shown with the help of sign of exclamation. Interjection, this is also called the interjection. So this sign of exclamation, yeah, this exclamation point is used at the end of that sentence, and that sentence is showing the extreme emotion or excitement. And again I'm repeating, it can be the sudden emotion of happiness and the sudden emotion of sadness as well. Like, OMG, I can't believe I won. So this is the sudden reaction of happiness. That's the biggest bird I have ever seen. So that is again the sudden reaction, the sudden emotion is present. So these kind of emotions are presented only with the help of exclamation point. Next is the comma. As you can see, that is already written just before, marked just before the comma written. Why the comma is used? First one, to separate the items in a list. When in a sentence different items are written, so that different items are separated with the help of comma. Like, I would like a cheeseburger, fries, milkshake and soda. Obviously at the last two things, that things carry and, but rest of the things are separated with the help of comma to separate two clauses, and this comma is used to separate when we use two clauses in a sentence, then we use comma to separate them. Third one, to set off transition words or the name of a person being addressed directly. When we have to say something to someone and we call that person by a name, then we write that name and separate it from the other part of the sentence by using a comma. Next usage of comma is to separate the day of month from the year. She was born on October 12th, 2004. So in this way, day of month from the year is separated with the help of a comma. Next is set of parts of a sentence that can be taken out without changing the meaning. So without changing the meaning, to set a different part, this is only separated with the help of comma. So these are the uses of comma. So let's revise once again. When we have to separate the item of lists in a sentence, when we have to separate two clauses, when we have to separate the name of a person from rest part of the sentence. Next, when we have to separate the month from the year, and when we have to separate the sentence, the part of sentence without changing the meaning, then we use comma. So in this way the comma is used. So next one is the use of semicolon. As you can see in the semicolon, firstly we put a dot, and just below the dot we made a comma, and that is called the semicolon. And how it is used? Semicolon is used between two independent clauses if a conjunction is not used. To make this point more clear, let's remind about the independent clause. Independent clause is that clause which have a complete meaning of itself, which can play a role of itself as a sentence. So that is called the independent clause. And when in a sentence, when two independent clauses are used, and when we have no need to use the conjunction, so instead of conjunction we use semicolon. For example, I have a big test tomorrow, semicolon, I can't go out tonight. So you can easily see that in this example there are two independent clauses. Both have a complete meaning in itself. Both can play the role of a separate sentence. Like I have a big test tomorrow. That is a complete sense in itself. That is the independent clause. And I can't go out tonight. That is also independent clause. And both these independent clauses are joined together with the help of a semicolon because interjection is not used. Next is the apostrophe. That is also a comma, but that we put always at the upper side. So these apostrophe commas are used when writing possessive nouns and contractions. How we use? When we have to show somebody's possession, when something is possessing something, to show that possession we normally use the apostrophe sign. As you can see that it is Kate's workbook is in the possession of Kate, right? तो Kate के साथ apostrophe s is there. This means that this apostrophe is showing the possession of workbook by Kate. Kate is having that workbook in her possession. Secondly, these apostrophes are used in the contraction forms, in the short forms, like you have done a great job. You have, instead of writing UHAVE have, the short form you have is written. So have की short form contraction form के लिए we put an apostrophe and replace the apostrophe with the HA. So this could be you have done a great job. So in this way, apostrophe is used at two places. First place when we have to show the possession, and in the second place when we have to write the contractions, the short forms. Next is the use of colon. How we use the colon? First one, this colon sign is used before certain lists. When we have to write a number of things, when we have to write a list, then mostly at the first place we use this colon. For example, I want the following items, semicolon, and then we can write the list like butter, sugar, flour. So all these things we can write, and for this we used the colon sign. Second use, this colon is used when writing the time. When we have to write the time, it's quite clear that we have to separate the hour from the minutes by using the colon. Used when writing the time, like it's 5:15 p.m. So 5 is the hour, 15 the minutes. So to separate the hour from the minute, we use the colon sign. Next is to capitalize the first word of a complete or full sentence quotation. Like the host made an announcement. This is completing the sentence that you are all staying for dinner. So in this way, this colon is used at this sentence. Next is the question mark. How we use the question mark? It's quite obvious that when we have to ask a question, when we need some information, when we have to ask something from someone, then we use the question mark at the last of the sentence. And these kind of sentences begins with the question words, but these kind of sentences always ends with the question mark when we have to ask something. And they are used at the end of a sentence to ask a question or express some doubt. For example, where did you put the cheese tray? Means somebody is asking, somebody wants to have the information about the cheese tray. Where is the cheese tray? Next one, how do I get to the train station? So this is expressing some doubt. So in this way, we use the question mark when we have to ask something. So every time when we want to get some information, then at that sentence, at the end, we always put a question mark. Next is the use of hyphen. As you can see, this is the small horizontal line that is called the hyphen. And how we use the hyphen? To join certain words that are put together to form a single idea. This means that when we use two words in a pair, but they form a single idea, at that time between those two words we normally put the hyphen. That is the small horizontal line, as you can see in the given example, that he has 29 bags. So 29, these are the two words that are putting together to form a single idea. So at this place we always use the hyphen. Next is to describe the job titles. When we have to express somebody's job, somebody's title, then we use two words, and to separate them we put a hyphen. Like he is the vice president. So between vice and president there is the hyphen. Next is the period. Now what is period? This is also called the dot, this is also called the full stop, and this is the period. Okay, and where we use it? This is used at the end of a sentence that makes a statement, gives a command or ask or indirect question. So this period is used when we have to write just a simple statement, assertive sentence, when we have to give a command, when we have to request about something, when we have to ask an indirect question. So at the last we put a period, means we put a full stop. Like I like chips and salad, please pick up your socks. So in this way each and every sentence at the last have a full stop. Next is also used at the end of the abbreviations. In abbreviations where we write short forms, then after each word we have to write the period, we have to put the full stop. So in this way we use this full stop. So let's revise again that the punctuation marks are used to separate letters, words, and sentences. This is the basic thing, that punctuations are used to clear the meaning of a sentence. They are used to separate the letters, words, and sentences. And at the last you can see once again question mark is there, then the apostrophe is there, sign of exclamation, comma, quotation marks. All these signs are used one by one to show our emotions. Somebody we have to give the clear idea, sometimes we have to put a pause, complete pause, short pause, full stop. When we sometimes we have to express the sudden feeling, sometimes we have to ask a direct question, sometimes we have to enclose the exact words of a speaker. And all these things, when we have to make a list, where we have to sometimes we have to give the short pause. So every time something normal is there, something different is there, that all the things we can make clear only with the help of punctuation marks. And these punctuation marks are used in English, in writing, when we have to write the things with the emotions, when we have to write the things to clarify the meaning, that time these punctuation marks are drawn, that time these punctuation marks are used. And when we have to use it regularly, we can do it practice, and we can learn it, and we can gain the knowledge. Thank you. I hope you understood this. Thanks for watching.